doing all night. We can pop bottles all night. Baby, you can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah, girl, I'm on you, you're so special, so nice. I guess all the jet for you tonight. Baby, you can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah. Anytime you wanna pick up the telephone, you know it ain't nothing drama golden stairs on you. Won't you get in my dear $5 million home and drop a penny, I swear. Now I want your body, I need your body. As long as you got me, I don't need nobody. You want it, I gotta go get it, I buy it. Tell him mother broke a joke, be quiet. Alright, so do you know the guy in the suit? Do you know who that is? Is that you? Do you not remember the evening?
Yeah, I remember.
Vaguely?
I told my story.
Alright. Anyway, but my version is not going to be that terrific. What I do remember is this, that, you know, I mean, Michael and I came very late to the proceedings. It looked like, you know, at that point, like any felonies that were going to be committed that night had already been committed, you know. It's like we were still kind of in misdemeanor land. It was something like 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, and everybody was on pretty much the same drugs, but like we'd taken them at different times in the evening, you know, and it's kind of like, you can't really like necessarily like merge like trips or anything like that, you know. It's kind of like, you know, it's like walking in on somebody like who are already like in act 3 of having sex, you know what I mean, and trying to like get in on it, and you can't, because it's like they're already like in that mindset in a way that you're not, coming into the middle of the movie. Here's what I do remember. So, you were in the kitchen, this other kid was there. It looked like you guys, you know, had already been hanging out for a while, I swear. But, you know, everybody was comfortable and everybody was mellow. There was something going on in every room, you know. There was this other fellow, I guess that was you, right? With Dustin in the living room. And that was cool, you know. They thought we'd take a sip. And then we came in and we sat down in the kitchen, you know, and it's like all the fucking food was gone. Sorry, I'm bitching. Anyway, so we made a couple of drinks. And you know, it's like we sat around, there was this like warmth in the house, and something stinks, but you know, it always kind of does, you know. It's like you can't really smell yourself, but you know, you can always smell other people. And it was a little bit like The Shining, because we hadn't met before, remember? I just remember like standing there when you opened the door, you know, we were standing there in this fucking like furry suit, like that thing that's blowing that fucking ghost in the middle of The Shining. You know what I'm talking about? Room 237. It was one of those places that, like, you know, some things scare people and other people are comforted by, you know? And we felt like we had just walked into the party, like, way too late, but that's okay, you know? It's not like we were on a date. But it was a little bit, you know, too late to go on in, you know? It was one of those things, like the last time I went to the Dick Doc, you know, with one of my friends, you know, I'm standing there getting a blowjob from this guy in the dark, right? And he looks up at me and he says, you know, I love your art. And I was like, goddamn, right? And, you know, it's like the only thing, it's like, you know, all of a sudden, it's like you take the anonymity out of sex. And it's not like, you know, it's the worst thing in the world. It comes with other benefits. But I'll tell you, on the negative side, like, that really is a hex. Like, you know, people tell you stories, like John Waters too, about, you know, going into the Dick Doc. It's like, what else you gonna do, right? And having some guy, like, halfway there with a dick inside your mouth, you know, basically saying, you know, I love your movies. I saw them in the South. So we were there, and it was really nice. We didn't know anybody. You know, he's standing there in the cloud, you know, and the light coming out, and everybody called his friend. And John came out and asked us if we wanted anything. He said no. But anyway, he had called us early in the evening and told us to come by. And I hooked up with Michael late. He was with some other guy. We thought we'd swing by and see what was going on, you know. Walked around. There's something different going on in each of the rooms. At least I think there was. Remember, I was on shrooms. It was Halloween. It was the Halloween that wasn't. Actually, I'm wrong. Do you remember? No. It was like 2 years ago, it was like everybody had something. We were doing Scream Along with Billy, and then over down the street, you know, it was like David Flowers was doing this crazy haunted house. And then up on Winthrop Street, remember? Like they had the whole thing decked out, and all the kids came by. They went and trick-or-treat. And everybody came, like everyone in town. It was like you didn't know who you were gonna meet. It was like everybody's like so much going on. Then Space Pussy played, and it was like, you know, like it would fucking like go on for days. And then all of a sudden, it was almost like there was too much. You know, there was even that fucking fancy ball. You remember that thing? Like Mark Jacobs produced it. It sucks. They flew those people in. It was like Blondie was here the first time. You know, I mean, you talk about a fucking win. It's like, you know, you could just buy tickets in your own hometown and walk down. You know, it's like fucking like Blondie's hanging around. It was really nice, but there was almost too much to do. You know, it was like everybody just kept pulling. We walked around in costumes, too. And then last year, like one by one, everything folded. and we thought maybe, you know, it's because we're getting older. But no, it wasn't. Like, David Flowers, like, stopped his haunted house, and Winthrop Street didn't do anything, man. It was quiet as a mouse. We moosed along so Space Pussy could play, and then Space Pussy canceled, and that was fucking gay. And then at the very last minute, like, the ball closed up. The hotels were full, and everyone was pissed. Because we were all worked up to go out, look around. The streets were fucking quiet by 2, not a sound. I don't know why, like, we went from feast to famine. Anyway, sorry, back to the story. I keep yamming. Anyway, I remember walking in, and like, you were very cute. And, you know, it's wrong to like look at somebody else, but of course that's the way it goes. You know, I'm sure some people think that I'm cute. Not that anybody knows, but at one point it did, and I'm sure when I was your age, you know, wearing a fucking bunny suit and did like that, you know, it's possible, you know, if I could go back a little bit, then I can remember the moments where I could have opened the door dressed like a chipmunk holding a gun. And maybe, you know, had the same kind of reaction from someone else that we got from me that night. But it was great, and it was one of those things, like, it's really, like, awkward to have, like, strangers walk in and you're standing there in your joggers, you know, but it's like, it wasn't like that, because we all know John Dowd, you know, it's like, at that point the party had really calmed down, and sure, an hour or two earlier it had been loud, you know John Dowd's parties always draw a crowd. And it was almost like we were there for the end, almost like the maids cleaning up, you know, at the end of upstairs, downstairs or something, like comparing scores. And that guy that was sitting with you at the table looked like he wanted to basically like cover you in maple syrup and eat you. Potentially again, I was trying to Scooby-Doo it, you know, but we weren't friends, so it was like I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And sometimes I thought, you know, it's like, well, what the fuck are they on? And that's it. We basically cleaned up, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. So I can't even fill half a cup with my memories, but I do remember it. It felt like sex was in the air. At least I thought so, but maybe I was just horny. I mean, I was there. And sometimes it's like the vibes you put into the air, you know? It's like sometimes like, all you have to do is fucking stare. It's like you don't even have to have sex, because we all know how that goes. You know, sometimes it's just like the winds, and sometimes the blows. But it was exciting, and I remember the suit. I remember the gun. I thought you were cute. I remember the mushrooms, and I remember Halloween, and unfortunately that's my memories of that whole fucking scene. Stacks on deck, joint on ice, we can buy bottles all night, baby you can have whatever you like, I said you can have whatever you like, yeah, don't want sheets, so special, so nice, the gas off the jacket tonight, baby you can have whatever you like, I said you can have whatever you like. Yeah, that's as much as I can remember.